and it is titled "The Journalists, Lawyers, and Activists Working on the Border Facing Coordinated Harassment from U.S. and Mexican Authorities," written by Ryan Devereaux. This came out yesterday, at 10:42 a.m. And it is just chock full of characters. I thought it was very interesting that many of them remained unnamed in this article, but we all know who they are: Myron Dewey, Evan Duke, Liva Sinclair, Doug McLean. I told you all of those people and showed you that they had all been detained by Homeland Security at the border and questioned. In particular, Myron talked about how he'd been questioned about our reporting here at 88.1 FM. So I was very interested to see that The Intercept kept a lot of the names of those people that we've reported on directly out of this Intercept article, but mentions things that indicate that it was exactly those people. For example, Evan Duke, I showed you, said he was handcuffed to a bench. That appears in the Intercept article. One of the people said he was detained for 9 hours. That was Myron Dewey. That was the exact number of hours he was detained, etc. We also have included in here the Al Otro Lado lawyers that I told you about, Nora Phillips and Erica Pinheiro. And it covers the photojournalist, Kitra Kahana, that Doug McLean and many others within these circles were also making a fuss about. So I found it very, very interesting that The Intercept is uplifting these folks and giving them cover. But what's even more interesting is all of the statements they get from Customs and Border Patrol, from Homeland Security, and from Mexican authorities telling them, we have evidence of these folks bringing people into the country illegally. Like, we have video and audio of people within these groups that we have detained doing these things illegally. And so they are targeting a lot of these journalists and documentary filmmakers and photographers that are right at the border with these people that are crossing illegally. And, you know, it is kind of surprising that The Intercept is acting as if there's something very strange about the authorities at the border questioning the journalists to look at their documentation of what is essentially a crime, because that's exactly what's happening. And furthermore, I think they have every right, with all of the evidence that I've shown so far, I'm sure that they also have collected, that these folks aren't just watching, that they aren't just there to provide medical care, as they claim, but that they are helping people break the law, which was the topic of my last show. You can go and catch that show, Breaking the Law, and all of the other ones that I've done about the caravan and the border wall on my website at kppfm.com. If you prefer, you can watch it on YouTube on Duke 1517. The other thing I want to share with you tonight and want to talk about briefly before we get into our slides here is a YouTube video by Alfonso Ulloa Guerrero. And he is the leader of Pueblos Sin Fronteras, the group that many of these organizations I'm going to be featuring tonight have been supporting, uplifting, and he is a terrorist. So I realize all of you can't watch and understand what is in this video, so I'm just going to give you some highlights. Duke and I watched it last night. I translated the whole thing for you.
Yep, exactly.
And maybe you can comment on what you thought about the video after I share my own ideas about it.
Right.
If you remember different parts of it than I do. But one of the things that he talked about, which was very interesting, was partisan politics in the United States. And he started talking about how, you know, Honduras was basically robbed for the last 100 years by the United States. And in particular, Hillary Rodham Clinton and Obama installed the current dictator, Juan Orlando Hernández, in Honduras, and they want him out. And that's why people will continue to leave in these migrant caravans. He doesn't sugarcoat it by saying they're all coming here fleeing violence and death, and they're seeking asylum because the country's on fire, or there's a war, or there's all this violence. No, he says very plainly, they are coming here because your government, the government of the United States, has installed this dictator in the country, and for the past 100 years have been robbing Honduras and Central America and Latin America. So we're not even going to charge you for all of the money you owe us from robbing us for the last 100 years. We're going to be super generous. All we want you to do is stay out of Honduran politics. Stay out of this country. Stop making incursions, installing dictators. Do not do that. Also, Trump, if you're listening, could you please invade Honduras and remove Juan Orlando Hernandez? Yeah. I was just like, my head was spinning. I'm like, did he just say, don't ever come into Honduras again if you want these caravans to stop, and then invite Trump to invade Honduras?
Yeah, that struck me as really weird when he said that, quit meddling in Honduras. And then he says, but come in and get rid of our dictator. And I thought, well, wait a minute. You either want us to meddle or not to meddle. And the whole idea that he still professes that Clinton is in control of their government. I thought, Clinton is not in office anymore. She was Secretary of State with Obama, and she probably very much had a lot to do with what's going on there. And the U.S. does have a lot to do with Central America and has done terrible things. But this guy was like, nope, you need to do this. And he's making demands of Trump. And I think it's very, very naive when people from Central America think they are speaking to Trump, that he's going to sit and listen to what they have to say. That to me is one of the most absurd things. Is like, don't they know who Trump is? Don't they know how things work in the United States? I don't think they do. And so they're making these demands, and somehow the benevolence of Trump, and he'll listen and he'll actually change policies based on these demands being made. I just think it's ludicrous.
And the other thing that he said was that, and this is contradictory to everything that the folks that are supporting this caravan, like Lolly B and Jake Lee and Kei Kurimoto and Doug McLean and all of the folks that have been in Tijuana, Myron Dewey, all of these border support network groups, Al Otro Lado, Pueblos Sin Fronteras, Enclave Caracol, all of these folks have been saying, we need to support them because, one, the Mexican government is terrible and they're attacking them and they're not helping them and we're the only ones helping them. Two, the Mexicans are racist and xenophobic, and everywhere they go, they're being shoved out because everyone there is racist and xenophobic. And also, these people don't have anyone. These people don't have people to sponsor them. They don't have family members that they can go and ask for help from. So they're all on their own. Well, Mr. Ulloa says that they all have families. That another reason for these caravans is because he believes half of the people in the caravan or more, and then he started just saying most of the people in the caravan have family members in the United States. That's why they're going. That's what the real issue is. This is a family reunification tour. This is a family reunification issue. These families need to be reunited with their loved ones, and that's why they're going to the United States. So lots of mixed messages from Mr. Ulloa. And then he said something really bizarre about all of these air bases, American air bases in Honduras, and said that basically this was going on in Hillary Clinton. He mentioned Hillary Clinton in there as if she was the nexus of it, but he claims it's still an issue. And that is that the United States is running drugs through that Air Force base from Colombia to the United States. These are the things that the terrorist said. The terrorist that is leading Pueblos Sin Fronteras said in this video. I will share the YouTube video link with you if you want to go check it out. If you know a little bit of Spanish or have someone that can help you with it, see for yourself. Let me know what you think. Send me your thoughts on the crazy video. Yeah. But I thought I should tell you about it because he also talks about interventions with regard to Venezuela. And he's like, the United States needs to stop intervening in other countries. But Trump, please, pretty please, could you come and invade Honduras? And I was just like,
remove our dictator, please.
So I wanted to take you back to the border camp where the Somisek village, whatever it's called, opposing the border wall, is set up. Remember that I told you that the FBI, according to Doug Warren, had just been there looking for one of their members, Jesse Dylan Garcia, and that they had lied to these authorities, telling them they didn't even know who he was, and that the picture they were being shown was not of Jesse Garcia, even though he had just been there. And I showed you it was indeed his picture from one of his 3 Facebook pages.
Yes.
So now I want to show you who else Doug Warren has been hanging out with. Here he is with Myron Dewey. This was quite recent. Here it is a post of his jokingly, maybe it's not a joke, and I don't think it is with these guys, saying that if you're not on a government watch list by now, you should be ashamed of yourself, because that's the type of activists these folks are. And we have Susie next. And also you have him talking about activist level professional. He's hitting tear gas with a tennis racket. These are things that he posts regularly. A lot of these folks do, these Antifa people. Doug Warren is in the Border Support Network. There is a post by Joe Plouffe, one of the people that started that camp, that helped start that camp, and he raised money for that camp. And here's the post from that Border Support Network page. Could you read that for me, Duke?
I sure could.
This GoFundMe.
Yes. This GoFundMe effort allowed a complete 3-panel solar power array to be delivered this week. It has also brought a large ice cooler and 2 large tents for our advance party to use. That party is tasked to set up a second frontline village encampment. That camp will locate in an isolated area on the banks of the Rio Grande River, right on the border.
Well, that's what they're doing right now. Is that it? Oh,
nope.
No.
From that forward position, wall construction will be watched, witnessed, and reported to the world. Sacred sites will be monitored, and environment, and that's it.
Will be protected, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
That's their whole shtick?
Yeah.
So this is what they're actually going to do. They're going to make a second front line village encampment.
Yeah.
And when they talk about front line, they're talking about the front line that is going to be fighting, the front line that is going to be facing off with authorities, I'm assuming our U.S. military. This is some serious stuff, what these folks are getting themselves into. And I just wanted to show you Doug Warren in the cemetery with Evan Duke, Brendan Tucker. You remember this picture. I've shown it to you before. There they all are. With Duane Redwater in the background this is when they were still cleaning up the cemetery, which they are now guarding with their lives. And of course, I also wanted to show you that they've had already some encounters with police. Here's another one I hadn't shown you where they're having an encounter with police on horses.
Yeah.
And there's Juan Mancias, the chair of the Comecrudo tribe, with Doug Warren. He's always wearing that little green vest. Here they are as a picture of them, Warren with phone numbers on his hands written, reminiscent to me of the people that were readying themselves to be arrested at Standing Rock and at others of these different marches and campaigns. There's an article about Mark Arabo, and I don't know why the link is no longer there.
What? Somebody
Somebody removed the link for this article. If you will give me a moment, I think it was Nemo.
Yeah,
removed the link from my article.
Well, we were working together tonight, Nemo and I, and kind of tag teaming, putting the stuff in, and sometimes stuff gets messed around with, and we move stuff around, and something.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh, good, we found it.
I found it.
Good.
Thank you, Nemo. San Diego resident is running an underground railroad to help Iraqi refugees fleeing ISIS, is the article, and it's from San Diego 7. I I wanted to share this with you because I thought, wow, this is really bizarre. So this is the organization, Minority Humanitarian Foundation, that we're going to be talking about tonight, which was founded by none other than Mark Arabo, the guy that I told you is connected in friendship anyway to the Obamas, the Clintons, the Carters, etc., and a lot of other people, much like Mark Lane and James Elia. And it says, a San Diego area nonprofit running an underground railroad is trying to save as many people as possible from turmoil in Iraq by finding them refuge in Southern California, and it has tens of thousands of Christian Iraqis on its waiting list. Mark Arabo, a first-generation Iraqi-American born and raised east of San Diego, founded the Minority Humanitarian Foundation in 2014 after he grew tired of waiting for a response from Washington officials to the crisis created by Islamic State militants. Quote, my number one goal is to save as many people as possible, he told the news station. It's never been about me, or if I'm targeted or not. I am focused. We have to save people that are going to get killed because of who they are. The group aims to help Chaldean Catholics and other persecuted religious minorities in Iraq by creating a safe passage for those that would like to leave the country and build a safe haven for those that would like to stay within the country. Arabo said the MHF works with other groups to coordinate the extractions. So they've coordinated extractions from another country and brought people in on an underground railroad before. I wanted to play a video that was with this article so you can hear from Mark Arabo himself.
Also tonight, we are learning about an underground railroad of sorts to free Chaldeans from persecution in Iraq, and the road to safety ends in El Cajon. Chaldean community leader Mark Arabo tells NBC7 just how he's transporting Chaldeans from Iraq to San Diego. NBC7's Dave Summers joins us live from St. Peter's Church in El Cajon with the story. Dave.
Approximately 300 Chaldeans in 10 months have escaped Iraq through this underground railroad. And Artie, they are all parishioners here at the Chaldean Cathedral. They escaped religious persecution in their own country thanks to one Chaldean community leader, Mark Arabo, in this country.
My number one goal is to save as many people as possible. It's never been about me or if I'm a target or not. I'm focused. We have to save the people. They're getting killed because of who they are.
Specific stops are kept secret, but Arabo's passage to freedom starts in northern Iraq, goes through Turkey, then destinations in Europe, to Mexico City, Tijuana, and finally El Cajon. Arabo says visas are no longer processed in Iraq, making it impossible for Chaldeans to enter the U.S. in any ordinary fashion. Arabo says the underground process meets federal regulations. Once at the U.S.-Mexico border, refugees ask for political asylum. Arabo says in Iraq, Chaldeans are forced to join the Islamic State or they are killed. There are 160,000 displaced Catholic Iraqis. As a result, 70,000 Chaldeans are on Arabo's waiting list.
Our extractions are at night when folks, a lot of government officials are asleep, and we're doing everything we can to rescue these innocent survivors of a genocide. This is our last resort, not our first resort, but in the absence of Washington leading, we have to do something.
His underground railroad, Arabo says his underground railroad cannot move people out of Iraq fast enough. So he's working with Congress to help come up with some legislation to give Chaldeans a more direct access to asylum. He's talking to the State Department, the White House, but so far all he has to offer them is this very difficult and dangerous journey to here, El Cajon. I'm Dave Summers reporting live.
So he admits that he gets people out at night. They extract them. They go through Mexico. They go through California, up through Tijuana, into San Diego, and interestingly, they find them sponsors. They ask for political asylum. It's all exactly the same. Listen to what they said as a result, in this article, as a result of more than 160,000 displaced Catholic Iraqis, 70,000 of those who are Arabos on Arabo's waiting list, and have been matched with 70,000 Americans who have said they would provide a home to the refugees when they come to the United States. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
The prominent Chaldean businessman who is president and CEO of the Neighborhood Market Association in San Diego,
Oh, yeah.
called for a more robust response to the crisis from government officials. Well, we know what happened with the Neighborhood Market Association and Mr. Arabo and his lawsuit and the $250,000 he had to pay back. He stepped out of that organization and also out of the Minority Humanitarian Foundation, but Mark Lane and James Alaya did not. They are now taking up where he left off. And I wanted you to see that they too have the same political clout and connections to power and Hollywood and money that Arabo had. James Alaya, I showed you, was connected to Gavin Newsom. I wanted you to see that this is from the state capitol, a post from February 6th. Would you please read that, Duke?
Yeah, let me make it a little bit bigger. James Ellis with Mark Lane. At California State Capitol, February 6, 4 p.m., Sacramento, California. Without a doubt, one of the best days ever for the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. We met with some heavy hitters and are thrilled on how much above and beyond California wants to go with the refugees. Special shout out to Lorena Gonzalez, Fletcher Assembly Member, Sabrina Cervantes, Brian Manchin, Assembly Member, Todd Gloria, and Gavin Newsom for your staffs for hearing us out.
And by the way, all of those are people that are tagged, which means he knows them. He's friends with them on Facebook. And I want to make sure that you understand Lorena Garcia Fletcher, the Assembly Member.
Yep.
The person that is listed there, tagged there, is the wife of Nathan Fletcher, who sits on the council.
I see.
If you scroll up, you will see that Miguel Dawson comments and says, #family. Just remember his name. Just put a pin in that one. Boop.
Okay.
Okay. Someone comments, humanity, blessing prayers. There are bad leaders of many countries.
Definitely.
Okay. Then the Minority Humanitarian Foundation is photographed here. As I told you, these are from the people that are listed on the page as on their website as being the leaders of this organization. Julia Kramer is in the middle of Mark Lane there, and James Alaya. And you can see they posted this to their Instagram, or what's it called? Go Insta, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Minority Humanitarian Foundation Squad off to Sacramento. This was on February 6th.
Wow.
This was not that long ago. Okay? And then I wanted to show you here Mohammed Al-Nakib, who is connected to the Rapid Response Network. I've shown you that he, along with James Alaya and Mark Lane, have been collecting people when they get out of detainment from ICE detainment, and giving them hotel rooms and paid for by Linda Sarsour, and that they're working with Linda Sarsour. And I wanted to remind you of that again. But now that you've seen some of these other folks that are helping in political campaigns and very well connected, like Shane Parmalee, I wanted you to see this call to action posted by Mohammed Al-Nakib to support asylum seekers. It says Op Monica Yvette, repost from PJ Flores, and it says, from folks who are currently on scene happening now, U.S. border agents are refusing to blah, blah, blah. So that's about seeking families and children to request asylum. But I really wanted you to see the tags. This is a call out to get people to help. Look who they have tagged. Shane Parmalee, Mark Lane, Linda Sarsour, okay? And then you have a bunch of other people who I'm not very familiar with. Yeah, but Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, the wife of Nathan Fletcher, is tagged by Mohammed El Nakib, as you can see. Keep going down, and you can see that. There's Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher right there at the bottom. And anybody else interesting? Not yet. Marco Octavio Rafael Amaral Valencia is one of those that keeps popping up again and again. So more of these names will be important to you later, but for now, notice the most important ones. Linda Sarsour, Mark Lane. I believe Julia was in there too, wasn't she? At the top? Maybe not. Perhaps. Okay, no. Anyway, I wanted to show you that they also did a hunger strike. Remember I told you that Mark Lane appeared on TYT talking about how he was going to do a hunger strike in solidarity, but then he only made it one day because he got sick or something. This is that hunger strike, and these are the people that were part of the hunger strike, and one of them was Mohammed El Nakib. And they're talking about this hunger strike. Jay Malaya was part of it. He was tagged in there. They're collectively going on hunger strike until their demands are met. And who is linked in this? Shane Parmalee, Mark Lane, Linda Sarsour, again. And anybody else interesting? Julie, there she is, the other person that's part of their organization. The organization specifically, Minority Humanitarian Foundation. Oh, look, there's Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, the wife of Nathan Fletcher, tagged again. So they have these connections to people that are in government, in politics. There's Marco Octavio again. Next, I wanted to show you that James Elias, remember that there was a whole group of organizations that were there the day that they passed the resolution to fund the housing.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out of this $25 million given by Gavin Newsom. And I just showed you, they're like, thank you to all these people at the state capitol for being here. I also showed you SEIU was part of that, that the Jewish Family Something Alliance was part of it. Here he is with a group from SEIU. And you can see he's posted this on his page. And, oh no, it was Drusilla Williams that posted this in August of 2018, and tags James Elia in it.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to show you more about James Elias, and this is from his State Assembly run. You'll notice that it says very clearly that he was a roofer and an EMT in college. You want to read this?
A roofer and an EMT?
Yeah,
wow.
dude.
Okay, let me check this out. I was a roofer. I was never an EMT, though. All right. I was a roofer and an EMT. This is more about James Elia, State Assembly, District 771. I was a roofer and EMT during college, where I learned about the importance of skilled labor. I was also able shortly afterwards to get a job in financial services, and now I have almost 15 years of wealth management, consumer banking, business development, and accounting under my belt. I'm currently a nonprofit executive and the director of operations for the Neighborhood Market Association, a Chatelaine business networking group advocating for CBA pricing for corner stores and independent grocers.
Okay, that's good enough.
That's good enough?
Yep. But I wanted you to hear a little bit about his background. I don't understand how all of these people suddenly qualify to be at the forefront of a conversation about migrants from Central America and Mexico. But there it is, folks. And here is James's connection to the Young Turks and Cenk Uygur, because of course you know that they don't just appear. Cenk Uygur has a lot to do with promoting, growing, funding, and creating these groups, these organizations, these campaigns, including the Veterans Respond, Veterans Stand for Standing Rock, supporting everything that, I mean, going all the way back to Occupy.
Yeah.
He's connected to all of that. And he's helping to run these different candidates. So he gave attention to his buddy.
Oh, yeah.
He says, shout out to my bro at Cenk Uygur for covering our campaign today on At the Young Turks. He hit me with the hard questions. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like dark money in politics and who I choose between Marvel and DC. That's a real hard one.
Yeah.
You're the man, Cenk. Feel the what? Burn.
Feel the burn.
Progressives.
Yeah.
You think this has anything to do with Bernie Sanders' campaign? Because it does. And also, here's James Elias posting about their great interview with his boy,
Yeah.
Cenk Uygur, on the Young Turks, talking about our assembly race. And if you go down further, he talks about them setting up baklava and his idol Anna Kasparian.
Oh, okay.
Arab candidates always hook it up with the baklava. Go back to the other one, because the previous one shows Anna Kasparian too. It's just lower than that photo. And you can see that he definitely was, you know, deer caught in headlights.
Yeah.
Just very happy to have their support. Here we have the connection to Susan Sarandon. How cool is this, says James Elia. Yesterday, the wonderful Susan Sarandon made a contribution to our campaign. And today, the amazing at Piper Parabo actually tweeted us. I don't want to fanboy too hard, but these women are two of my idols, and I'm honored to have their support. Notice how they have all of this Hollywood star power at the ready. I showed you Susan Sarandon is connected to Francis Fisher and Josh Fox and all of that nonsense out in Hollywood supporting this. And here is James Elias' Border Patrol post talking about how people are going to be thrown out into the streets. And who does he talk about there? South Dakota. San Diego Rapid Response Network. But Duke, that's not the name of the organization he runs. It's Minority Humanitarian Foundation. Why is he talking about it? Because they work together. He works with Mohammed El Naqib and Linda Sarsour. They are connected. Why am I saying this so emphatically? Because I saw the evidence today from a confidential source that Mark Lane is trying desperately to distance himself. He said publicly that he doesn't have anything to do with the San Diego Rapid Response. In fact, they hate him. And also, you know what? Those people are doing something wrong, something perhaps not legal. And maybe they shouldn't have funding. That's what he is telling folks. But the truth is, as you can see, they are deep, deep, deep in. Julia Sai Love says, sharing. That's one of the people that used to watch our show, or maybe still does.
Yeah.
I can see, because we have shown very detailed receipts of what these folks are doing, that the people that support these folks don't care about what they're doing, don't care that they're breaking the law, don't care that they're hurting people. They're going to support them blindly no matter what they do. I get that. I see that. Here is Minority Humanitarian Foundation posting about how they helped the Coast Guard. Duke, you want to read that for me?
I sure can.
That would be swell.
Yes. I'm so proud of the team we have at the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. We see a problem, we respond. Will you help us help the Coast Guard during the shutdown? Mark Lane.
Can you scroll down?
I sure can.
So he's tagged Mark Lane.
Twice, it looks like.
During the shutdown, they decided to go and give donations to the Coast Guard so that they could take advantage of, putting their name next to donating to the Coast Guard and their humanitarian foundation.
Yep.
And then I wanted to show you that James Elia, Mark Lane, and Bernie Sanders. Mark Lane worked on Bernie Sanders' campaign. On his Go Insta, he's got pictures of him with Bernie Sanders where he says, that the one in the middle right there, he's got that picture on his Go Insta saying,
okay,
I was so proud to work on Bernie Sanders' campaign. I drove him around for 25 hours, gave me a big hug. Here he is thanking Bernie. And you can see both Mark Lane and James Elia are connected to Bernie. It's not just one, it's both of them. And not just Bernie Sanders, but Levi Sanders, his son.
Okay.
In fact, if you scroll to the right, you see there's Bernie Sanders and his son, Levi Sanders, at the podium. And then this is a post by James Elia. And in this post, he is talking about that this man, Levi, who used to be, I believe, the campaign manager for Bernie Sanders, or senior policy advisor. He said, friends, dual endorsement alert. This is a biggie. My main dude, Levi Sanders, tags him, they're friends, candidate for New Hampshire, CDO1 for Congress, former senior policy advisor for Bernie Sanders, and happens to be the son of our favorite Senator Bernie Sanders, has officially endorsed me, James Elia, for state assembly in the 71st district. There you go.
Wow.
And then, of course, he has the endorsements of movie stars and also activists in political, wonks, if you will, like Kirsten Bell. Here he is in a picture with Kirsten Bell. James Elias getting the endorse, and Mark Lane is tagged. Remember, Mark Lane was working on his campaign. Julia, the person that works for Minority Humanitarian Foundation, also worked on his campaign. The two things go hand in hand.
Yep.
Okay? And here is one with Fletcher, Nathan Fletcher, not the wife. This is James Elia. He's tagged in there with David Myers, who is the sheriff, who he is friends with, who Shane Parmalee, their friend, campaigned for. You see that? Candidates, Mark Straybone, Recorder County Clerk, James Elia, Nathan Fletcher, Board Supervisor, District 4, Genevieve Jones-Wright, District Attorney, and Dave Meyer, Sheriff. I don't know if he won for Sheriff, but there they all are. And here is the Rapid Response Network. James Elia talking about the Rapid Response Network. Nope. We are on scene 7.
Okay.
And this is the San Diego Rapid Response Network posting on January 7th about Tulsi Gabbard. Can you please read this?
I sure can. San Diego Rapid Response.
Could you put your face on there?
Have to move with one hand. It's kind of hard to do things multiple at once, Actually, I have two hands, but just can't grab the mouse with both hands. San Diego Rapid Response Network. SDRRN update, number 3, January 7th, 2019. The San Diego Rapid Response Network and its many partners, donors, and volunteers rose to the challenge again last week to assist asylum-seeking families released by the federal government into our community. Together, we added 532 individuals, including many small children, with shelter, food, clothing, medical care, legal advice, hygiene services, and assistance with transporting to their sponsors across the country. That brings our total served since the end of October to 4,500 people. Our SDRRN hotline, blah, 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 fielded 60 calls for assistance last week, continuing to make breakthroughs with elected officials from many levels of government. We hosted several last week as we struggled to secure a large, safe facility and resources to accommodate the fluctuating number of families in need of temporary support. Hawaii Congressman Tulsi Gabbard visited the shelter to see herself the strain that the federal government is placing on our community through release policies that seem designed to disrupt and punish asylum seekers. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom included in his inaugural speech a mention of his visit to San Diego's migrant shelter and of a 3-year-old girl in need of asylum who captured my heart. Of California, he said, at a time when so much of America is divided, we are united. Our people are big-hearted and fair-minded. Hey, that's a little rhyme.
Yeah.
California Senate President Pro Tem Tony G. Atkins returned last week after serving lunch on Christmas Day in December. She boldly called on public officials at all levels of government to resolve this ongoing humanitarian crisis. Relying on nonprofit social service agencies to shoulder this entire responsibility, and without the resources to do so, is not a process that can be sustained indefinitely, she said. There's no excuse for inaction. It is the government's responsibility to step in and solve this potential crisis. Senator Atkins was joined at the shelter with California Latino Legislative Caucus and Vice Chair Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, and Vice Chair Senator Marina Elena Duranzo. Also in attendance for the briefing and tour were Senators Susan Rubio, Ana Caballero, and Assembly members Susan Talmartes Eggman, Cristina Garcia, Assembly member Monique Limon, Sharon Quirk Silva, Assembly member Eloise Gomez Reyes, Assemblywoman Blanca E. Rubio, Cecilia Aguilar, Curry for Assembly District 4, and San Diego's own Todd Gloria were accompanied by Raiz, a member of the Board of Trustees for this, of the San Bernardino Community College District. On Friday, Mayor Kevin Falconer announced that the city of San Diego is evaluating properties that may be suitable to shelter migrants in a stable, secure location and prevent the need to relocate operations while providing services as the shelter has done 5 times since late October. Well,
what did we hear, though, about, what did we hear Lolly B and Jake Lee say yesterday about the number of people after this whole process and all of these millions of dollars are injected in caring for them, injected into California and San Diego to care for them, to house them, to give them vaccines, to get them sponsors, all of this work. How many people are going to end up staying? How many people are going to get granted that asylum?
Very few, almost none.
She said most of them will not get it.
Yep.
So all of this is going to be flushing money down a toilet, pretty much. But I did want to show you how, oh, look at that. Same people again.
Yep.
Tulsi Gabbard, who's now making a bid for the presidency, who was out at Standing Rock and was working very closely with the same people that we see involved now, is injecting herself into this conversation as well. CBP, in this post by Noemi Aide Dengui, is talking about how Border Patrol dumped 175 people on the street, and San Diego Rapid Response Network is going to do the work. Who is tagged? What? James Elia of the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. No matter how many times Mark Lane says, I don't have anything to do with them, I'm not working with them. And he's saying it because he knows that they're doing stuff that is illegal. He knows that they're bringing people into the country illegally. Minority Humanitarian Foundation claims they're doing everything above board. They are following the law. They are not helping people that crossed illegally. They are definitely not helping people cross illegally. They're not encouraging it. They're not working with the people that are filming it or that are helping them over the wall, or none of that. They don't have anything to do with them. But they do.
Yeah.
They definitely do. So if you can scroll up. So he's basically throwing them under the bus when everywhere you look, you see evidence of the fact that he's working directly with them. There's really no separation between them, the two. Is that pretty much it? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Okay. So now I want you to go to Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher. She posted, can you read that for me too?
Yes, I sure can. Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher.
Remember, she's the one that's married to Nathan Fletcher, who sat on the group of people that made the decision to give the housing.
Yeah, for some reason
That voted on it.
For some reason I'm not finding it here.
It's right there, honey. It says, I am so grateful. Lorena, you're on it right there.
Okay.
Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher.
It's the wrong spot here. Okay.
I'm so grateful to these gentlemen who spent the morning helping us load up tens of thousands of diapers and are delivering them to Tijuana. It takes a village. Thank you, James, Elia, Mark, Lane, Peter, Canelli. One of our viewers comments, Mexico and its president have signed the UN Migratory Compact and given up the sovereignty of their country and its people. Well, a lot of people feel that way. You're right about that. A lot of people do feel that the pact that was signed by Manuel López Obrador is basically giving up the sovereignty rights of Mexico. But let me tell you what else has happened there. Let me explain something that the president of Mexico has done. The Mexican president understands what all Mexicans understand about migration, and that is they've never been able to stop it. They've really never attended to the border, the southern border of Mexico, and put a wall like the United States has, and had, people hunted down if they come in illegally. It just hasn't been a priority. There is a lot of things that previous administrations have not done a very good job at prioritizing in Mexico. However, this president is changing things. He's decided that he is going to put more security at the southern border and stop people from coming in, and he's going to make everyone identify themselves. He's not going to make it difficult to come in. He put a lot of resources and people into making the process faster so that you can come in, documented. You do have to wait at the southern border for approximately a week so that your background check goes through. They can take your digital fingerprints. Yeah. They can do a retinal scan. Mm-hmm. They can give you an ID. They can get you a visa so that you can work and travel freely. Mm-hmm. And then they let you in. Okay. And if you don't want to wait for that process, you will be deported. If they catch you, you will be deported. And a lot of the people that decided to come in, advised in many cases by the people that I have been showing you are manipulating and giving bad legal advice to this caravan, is actually causing them serious problems. And one thing that I failed to mention about the terrorist leader of Pueblo Sin Fronteras, Ulloa, is that he also made this really strange claim that getting the humanitarian visa in Mexico was a hindrance for those claiming asylum in the United States. Kind of like a hidden message. Don't ask for the humanitarian visa. Resist the process that would give you the opportunity to work, ID yourself, follow the laws in Mexico, travel freely throughout the country. Don't do that. Oh, by no means. You don't want to do that because it'll blow any chances that you have to request asylum. It doesn't matter that only 7% of the people requesting asylum are going to be granted asylum, and that it totally makes the point moot that you should definitely apply for humanitarian visa to work in Mexico. But despite that, he is making these crazy claims, and I think that many of the people that are in the caravan who listen to him are going to do that. Just as many of the people who are in the caravan who are listening to these organizations and groups of activists from these leftist groups in the United States are advising them similarly. So, Mohammed posted, did we look at the tags on that one already?
I don't think so.
Let's go scroll down because I wanted you to see who these people are. So look at that truck full of diapers. Mm-hmm. There's Mark Lane. There's James Elia. And then they're at a warehouse. Do you see that warehouse?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Is that familiar with you?
Looks like when Myron Dewey was doing that stuff.
And Bertie Gutierrez.
Yes.
And yeah.
It's just like the same place.
They're working with them. I've shown you they're all working with them.
Yeah.
So they've got this person over there, and you know she's in Mexico. They're running that shelter over there. So Mohammed El Nakib posted about, with Bertie Gutierrez and 18 other people, and they're talking about Jean Wong. Jean Wong is the person that is tagged there.
Okay.
And they're talking about the Caritas shelter. If you want to scroll to the right, you'll see who's tagged. Let's look. It's Shane Parmalee. It's Julie
yes.
from the
Julie with no last name.
Julie with no last name from Minority Humanitarian Foundation. James Alaya, Minority Humanitarian Foundation. Marco Octavio again. And this El Nakib, I told you, is connected to Linda Sarsour, and he's part of the South Dakota Rapid Response Network.
South Dakota or San Diego?
San Diego.
Okay.
Gosh, darn it. I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. Could you scroll back the other way and go down? Go down. They're talking about getting medical care for these folks. There in the white hair in the forefront is Jeannie Wong.
Okay.
And if you scroll down even further, oh no, there, that's it. And next I wanted to show you, oh, shoot. Can you go back to CBP, the post about CBP dumping a bunch of people? I failed to show you something else pretty important about this. I want you to go all the way to the right. All the way to the right. Just keep going. Go, go. And now go up. No, down, I mean. Go down. What? Okay, maybe go up. Maybe go up. Don't go fast. Don't go fast. Oh, that's a little bit too slow. That's crazy. What are you doing to me? Go to the middle. Oh my God.
Go to the middle.
Did it
Go
get
to left.
cut
Go to
off?
right.
Go down.
Sit down. Stand up. Fight, fight, fight.
No.
Are you just trying to see if I can do this?
There's a post by Madeline Kelly Merritt in support of this. And I think it was right at the very, very end. I think it got cut off. I'm going to cry.
Oh, wow. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was Madeline Kelly Merritt from LA Divest, the person that started Activate Now, and that was with Ed Higgins, the Hollywood actress that the Estefania Rebelon, the Mexican American actress, was promoting in her campaign and etc. That's connected to all these people. She's working with them too.
Okay.
It's the same group of people. I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my tag got cut off there. But Mark Lane and James Alaya also have been working with the LGBTQ caravans, Pitaya Queen, as has Bertie Gutierrez, as has the Indigenous Life Movement, William Hawk, Doug McLean, all of those folks. I know that it's very hard to read these, but they're talking about how they're waiting. This is from his Insta. Sitting at the border waiting for one of our LGBTQ brothers to be released by ICE. And the first person that is tagged in this post there is at Zoe Winkler Rains, the granddaughter of Henry Winkler.
The Fonz.
The Fonz. You know what's really sad but funny?
What's that?
Because as I have discovered how many of the Hollywood elite, or I don't know, I think there maybe has been some of them, because, you know, that's just my opinion. But how many of these Hollywood people have turned out to be disappointing pseudo activists involved with these leftist organizations that are extremist groups that threaten the security of our nation? And somebody said, Cindy, are there any good people left? Do you think Henry Winkler is involved in any of this? And I'm like, I don't know. I hope not. I'm sorry, I have an update. I was wrong. He very much is involved in this. And no, it is not good.
You know what that person's saying right now? Hey. You know, that's from the Fonz, you know, if you ever watched Happy Days. Right?
Okay. Next, I have Mark Lane posting about, this is just bizarre. Could you read this, please?
Yeah.
This is the most bizarre, and I want your commentary after.
Okay. Let me scroll down to be on it so I can move it around. Oh, this is that weird post you're putting from the site that's all blue lettering and all that stuff. Really hard to read on screen. But anyways, do our best. Mark Lane, a month ago, just landed in Dallas. First order of business, meeting a board of directors for a big grant. Wish me luck. Second order of business, picking up one of our refugee families and driving them to their stuff back to San Diego to a new sponsor, as their family sponsor basically turned mom into their slave. Let me say that again.
Yeah, read that
Their family
again.
sponsor basically turned mom into their slave.
So they had a sponsor. The sponsor turned the mother of the family into a slave. And then this happened. They got a new sponsor.
Oh.
Zoe Winkler. Somebody's telling me, Denise says that Henry Winkler passed away. Did he pass away 2 days ago?
No.
Is that true? Can somebody fact check? Wow. My condolences go out to their family. But both he and his granddaughter are definitely supporting Mark Lane, the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. It's very possible that they don't know who all these folks are connected to. But that's what they're doing.
Wow.
There's at Zoe Winkler Reigns again.
Mm-hmm.
I was told that Henry Winkler, as well as Zoe and the organizations she's affiliated with, which I'll tell you more in about a minute here, have been giving money to these folks, Mark Lane in particular. And I showed you what they did with their, their neighborhood market association.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that, Duke. There was some crime going on there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of
Definite
corruption.
mismanagement of funds.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Mark Lane with Henry Winkler. There they are together. And if you will look over to the right of that post picture, you can see that he had dinner with him.
Yep.
And he says, I can die now. I
Yeah.
had dinner with Henry Winkler.
Wow.
And he tags the granddaughter
Mm-hmm.
and some other folks. And then we have a post I'm going to share with you that I believe, among all of the other things that I've shown you, that clearly show that he is working with the likes of Evan Duke and Lila Sinclair and Doug McLean and the people from Al Otro Lado whose lawyers have recently been deported from Mexico to help people cross into the United States illegally. He claims that everything Minority Humanitarian Foundation is doing is above board, that they're not working with people that come into the country undocumented. All the people they're working with got out of ICE detention, and they're just finding them places to stay. They're not working with those people over there. They certainly have nothing to do with the Rapid Response Network. Those folks are doing something shady. He has nothing to do with them. But it is a lie. And here is another proof of that. This is from American Babylon's page. The guy that runs it is Brian Sanders. And you can... Okay, someone's telling me that that's not true. He's still alive. He's 73. Thank you, Melinda Ann.
Good.
Okay, Denise, don't fake news me. See, that's why you got to fact check people. Fact check it. Thanks for the fact checking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Brian Sanders here has posted. He's filming, just like all these people that are in the Intercept article, just like the people that were in KPBS
Mm-hmm.
that interviewed Evan Duke and Lila Sinclair and accused them of helping push people over the border, which they denied, of course. But this guy is one of those people that's right there filming the people crossing over the border. And he says this man traveled overland from the continent of India to meet us in Tijuana and attempt to cross the border near Otay, Mesa West, San Diego. Why don't you finish reading it, dude?
All right. Imagine what that journey entails. India, Brazil, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, the entirety of Mexico from south to furthest away western edge of Tijuana. Photos by the fantastic Jimmy Gennati. Videos by me for America
Now,
Babylon.
go all the way to the bottom and see who this guy, who is filming a guy crossing into the United States illegally, thanks. Let's see who he thanks. Video and edit by Brian Sanders. Photography by Jimmy Giannotti. And a deep thanks to
Mark Lane
of the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. So,
wow.
You know, he can say all he wants. He doesn't have anything to do with the people that are crossing people illegally. But here's the receipts. And let me show you the film so you can see for yourself what's in that video.
All right.
Here it is.
Hello! Follow here! Hello! Follow here!
You see the border security.
Ya quité como jefe ya. Quiere jamar, no sé Pase el otro pie, recárguese. Ándele, ándele. Pero sí, ten cuidado. Que ponle la mano en el suéter. Para no...
Many people fleeing violence.
It's possible to read their lettering.
Yeah.
Someone commented on this stream, the strangest thing ever is the fact that these activists are so anti-American, but yet they can't wait to sell these people the American dream. That's how good of liars they are.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's mind-boggling. The way I put it is that they say the right things, but they don't do the right things. They're trying to break the system, right? And you'll hear these folks repeatedly say, it's a right. It is a legal right to request asylum. You don't have to come through a border entry point because, see, America has rules about how many people it can see for asylum claims per day. Like they have a number of staff people and they have a certain number of hours in the day that they are open. And during that time, because of how difficult it is to file an asylum claim, they have only so many people that they can see per day.
And you got to remember, too, a lot of this was happening during the government shutdown, which ICE staff was affected. Their funding was affected. They had essential personnel. But they were backlogged with asylum claims even before the caravans came. And it made it worse. I think they were looking at would be like, hundreds of days for them to actually sift through what they actually had. And so people were demanding that, well, we're going to be seen, in the next couple of days, we're going to be able to file. They were totally backed up bureaucratically because of all the claims that were made before that and the government shutdown, and then coming back after the government shutdown, so they're totally backlogged, very much.
Years now.
Yeah.
Years now. They are backlogged years because of what these folks are doing, and it's just going to make things worse. What naturally happens, what I need folks to understand is that what naturally happens is that people that want to flee violence, want to, leave a country because their life is in danger, many of them simply cannot. They don't have the means, they don't have the resources, they don't have the assistance. So, and they certainly can't pick and choose like, you know what? I would like to seek asylum in France, or I would like to go to the United States. They simply can't do that. They don't have the resources or the means to do that. So that's why folks like me are telling you that these caravans are not organic. This many people could not from Central America, could not afford to do this. And usually they would have to have somebody cross them, a guide, a coyote, usually, many of whom commit horrible crimes against these folks. So the fact that they are circumventing that whole process and just deciding, I'm not going to request asylum in my country. I'll go and do it by crossing into the United States illegally and then saying, well, I had to, you see, because my life is in danger. And if it turns out that 99% of those people did not have their life in danger, and I think it's going to be pretty easy for the U.S. government to find evidence of these folks being questioned all over the television in live streams about on the road here, because there's so much media people documenting the people that are in this caravan that there is probably ample evidence of the many, many times folks in this caravan had said they were just coming here to look for a job.
Yep.
Not fleeing violence, not scared for their lives, etc. So the truth is that they're coming here with the pretext of asylum seeking, but they are not going to qualify for asylum. So no matter whatever the pretext is to cross them into the country illegally, eventually a reckoning day will come. It will be called the asylum hearing.
Oh, yeah.
And only 7% of the people will have credible claims, and only 7% will be granted. And the rest will be deported. And what will have happened to the effort, the resources, the money, time, and the money spent? Wasted. And who are you going to reclaim this from? You think the Minority Humanitarian Foundation is going to apologize for all of the havoc that they have wreaked? Do you think that the Rapid Response Network in San Diego is going to apologize and return the millions of dollars that they have absconded with to supposedly do this work? When they already have all of these millionaires and Hollywood stars and politicians in their pocket, why are they making the taxpayers of San Diego pay for this mess? Why? I don't understand. One of our viewers says, absolutely right. Get everyone else arrested just so long as it's not them. And I can't see the names very well. I mean, they're better now because it's darker, but I'm still, let me see. No, go down. True. Because they make money, Phyllis says, because they make money from doing this. Yes, a lot of money. They make millions of dollars from doing this, and they're not going to stop. We have someone else saying, Wambly said, I am indigenous to this country and I want to leave too, but nowhere to go. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can't all just go where we want to because we don't want to be in our country of origin. Al Otro Lado, I wanted to show you that Al Otro Lado is now partnering with musicians in Canada. Look at what kind of support these organizations have managed to get for themselves.
Wow.
This is a band from Canada called Arkells. And as you can see in the post with the picture of the concert of the Arkells is, I believe this is from their Instagram. I'm not sure what platform, but I think it's in their Instagram. Can you read that, Duke?
Yeah, Alto Lado 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Let me see. Hold on a second. Arkells fans, buy your tickets now. $1 from every ticket goes back to helping refugees. Thank you, Max, and thank you to our friends. I can't read it. The blue lettering is
+1.org.
+1.org. A little bit.
Repost and Arkells Music. Arkellians in partnership with Plus One. What's it say?
Okay, partnership with Plus One, $1 from every ticket on the rally cry for tour goes to the Canadian Council for Refugees and Al Otro Lado, U.S. Both are righteous organizations who help improve the lives of those who need it the most. Thank you.
And let me just tell you a little bit about the Arkells because we're Americans here. We're not Canadians, so you might not know about them. The Arkells, from their wiki, Arkells are prominently featured political motivators in the music industry.
I see.
Examples of their music are Knocking at the Door, which was written about the Women's March on Washington, The Ballad of Hugo Chavez, which was written about the Venezuelan president as a political prisoner, and People's Champ, in protest of our U.S. President Donald Trump, as well as Whistleblower, about journalists blowing the whistle and exposing truth behind closed doors. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not just a band.
Nope.
They kind of have, something a little bit more to them. Brian, Mark Lane, Nicole, and Shane. Brian, the guy that did the video, American Babylon or whatever it was, where the guy was jumping the border.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Brian Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
He's filming this. So this is a screen capture of his video that he posted of Mark Lane talking about his work. But tagged in this video are Nicole Ramos, the leader of Al Otro Lado. Again, this is Brian Sanders' post, the guy from American Babylon, I believe it's called. And you can see there that he tags Nicole Ramos, and he tags Mark Lane, and he tags political activist Shane Parmalee, and says, always showing up to change the world. No, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Messing it up for sure. And they definitely show up wherever all of you are. San Diego Downtown March, about 5,000 people standing against the federal government. Whose federal government are they talking about, Duke? Venezuela?
I don't know.
I think they're talking about the US of A.
Yeah.
That's who they're talking about. See, they're very much anti-American. If you blink, you miss it, but it's there. And here is a video by the Arkells partnering with Al Otro Lado.
Hey everyone, it's Max from the Arkells. I'm here to tell you that we are very honored to once again partner with Plus One on the North American Rally Cry Tour. On this tour in Canada, we're going to be partnering with Canadian Council for Refugees, and in America, we'll be partnering with Al Ocho Lado. For the last 40 years, the CCR, Canadian Council for Refugees, has been the national voice for refugee rights and empowerment in Canada. Your support helps the CCR continuing ongoing work to connect organizations working across Canada to support and empower refugees. Al Ultralado is a binational direct legal services organization serving indigent deportees, migrants, and refugees. We're in the midst of a refugee crisis at our southern border, and they are providing critical assistance to refugees, including infants and unaccompanied minors. So not only are you supporting live rock and roll, you're supporting a very noble cause. I can tell you that the times in our lives when we feel most fulfilled is when we're giving back. So thank you very much for supporting this noble cause.
How do you feel about this, Duke? The idea of, like, you know, go to a concert and help a refugee.
Well, the first thing I think about is that, you know, this stuff is being ramped up and publicized because of the border issues in the southern border right now with the caravans. And there's been plenty of people in this country needing these sorts of legal services.
But it's also the beginning of the tour for the Arkells.
Yes.
And
yes.
they just released their new album.
Yeah, yeah. It's a, you know, it's always about self-promotion. In fact, in fundraising, whenever you get corporate donors spend 10 times more money bragging about their donation than the actual donation they make. The thing with corporate sponsors is that they spend a lot of money promoting themselves through the donation to you. You know, that's one of the things in fundraising. They say, you know, you can go after a corporate sponsor to try to raise money, but they basically use a lot of money to promote they're giving you money. But the thing that struck me as this video is that these legal services and all the different things, I think they're very, very, very needed. However, they've been needed and needed and needed for a long time. I mean, we were trying to raise money in Minnesota. I mean, there's lots of people in Minnesota that need all this. A lot of people that are in detention in Minnesota, in North Dakota. They need bail money to get out. They need sponsors. They need this is nothing new. And these groups that went down there have almost like seized.
They came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Al Otro Lado, as you saw on Nicole Ramos's profile picture, was started recently when she left wherever she was living in Alabama.
Yep.
And decided to go to California, not speaking any English, not knowing anything about the border, not knowing any Spanish, and also knowing zero about asylum law.
Yep.
But she should be the person to do it. And Mark Lane and Mark Arabo were smuggling in Iraqis and Chaldeans that were fleeing the war.
Yep.
Into the United States through Mexico, and also mismanaging funds, committing crimes through their neighborhood association. Plus, Mark Lane was running a seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
Now somehow he's at the forefront of helping migrants and refugees from Mexico and Central America. WTF, people. WTF. It's enough to make me spit.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating, and it's more frustrating when you throw on top of it that all of these actors and actresses and rock stars and bands are self-promoting off of the backs of these organizations that are exploiting the caravan, not helping the caravan, and also destabilizing our government and sucking the funds out of our communities.
Yeah.
Here is that Plus One website. As you can see, they got all sorts of bands on here doing this.
Oh, that's what this is.
They partner with a whole bunch of different people.
I see. Engaging audiences, affecting change.
Yeah, if you scroll up, you'll see they got a whole bunch of different bands that are listed on here. And they say who they're raising money for.
Yeah.
It says it's, you know, an innovative channel where your band too could be partnered with some nonprofit cause, and you could, you know, sell tickets and raise money for the cause. They say that they've given over $7 million
Wow.
in support, granted directly to who the hell knows. If it's people like Al Otro Lado, then it's highly questionable. But, you know, keep going and you could see They've got all of their artists on here. There's not that many, but
Yep.
you know, it tells you what they're partnered with on each one.
Okay.
So you can see that if you keep going, you'll be able to see the musicians and the causes. There's Macklemore.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know a lot of these bands. In fact, that's about all the bands that I know.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be useful, but you can go to Plus One on your own. There is a link that we'll share with you so you can go check it out for yourself and see what they're about. But that's not all. Mark Lane, Al Otro Lado, and these exploitative, extremist linked organizations have going for them. Mark Lane, for example, is now on Amazon Smile, as you can see from this post. And money goes to that organization every time you buy something on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazon will donate a small percentage of their profits to our organization every time you shop. It's free and easy and a great way to help.
I will also share his Go Insta link so you can go check out all of the... You need to go look at their page and see how many actors, actresses, products, groups, discounts, organizations have jumped on supporting this humanitarian foundation thing, because it's insane. I can't show it all to you because we just don't have enough time in the day.
Exactly.
But you can go check it out for yourself. I wanted to show you another campaign connected to Zoe Winkler, the Go campaign. And this is Zoe Winkler. That's Henry Winkler's granddaughter.
Okay.
I thought she looked like Eva Longoria with blonde hair. I was like,
Oh,
who's
interesting.
that?
Huh.
There she is with Mark Lane of the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. I apologize that it is so difficult to read.
My eyes are all blurry.
I apologize for that as well. But it is on his Insta,
Yeah.
Go Insta page that you can go and check out for yourself. And she says, thank you to Gina, who is the director of the Go campaign, for something the day in Tijuana, spending the day in Tijuana with us at some of the, and they got a generous grant from them, from the Go Foundation, from the Go campaign. So they've got funding, they got star support from the Go Foundation, they got money from Henry Winkler, from his granddaughter, and they got all of these other stars to support them. In fact, it says, thank you, Gina, director of Go campaign, for spending the day in Tijuana with us and for the generous grant. Zoe Winkler reigns at Yolanda, Celine WM, at Hannah SKVRLA, and at ESL Mary Collins. And here is Amber Heard, the actress from Aquaman, with Mark Lane.
Okay.
For those who can't recognize her. And he says she spent the day in Tijuana with them. She plays somebody. I can't tell who.
Yeah.
It says they got to spend the day with the people at the shelters, okay? And Mark Lane has a post about how he takes people to go see Aquaman.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, he took like 19 people to see this movie. And this says they got to spend the day with her, including Mara from Aquaman. I didn't know who she was, and was explaining to her and her sister about different things that we do for the refugee families. I told them on Christmas we took 19 refugees to see Aquaman. Her sister said, well, this is the redhead Mara.
I see.
From the movie Aquaman. And they also took the green actress from Guardians of the Galaxy, Zoe Saldana.
Okay.
Here she is with Mark Lane as well. She plays Gamora, the green lady, in Guardians of the Galaxy. You remember her. There she is. Once again, all of these folks were in Tijuana at the shelters.
Wow.
most likely and most assuredly at the Caritas shelter, which is run by Bertie Gutierrez and Mark Lane. And here is an article. I can share the link with you. It's from the Sol de Tijuana, where it talks about these actresses from Guardians of the Galaxy and Aquaman.
Oh, interesting.
Visiting the children, giving their support to the migrants in Tijuana. Because, you know, they wanted to make the news in Mexico. They wanted to make positive news in Mexico. They wanted to show the Mexican people that there is positive support from movie stars, and maybe it'll change their opinion of what all of their media people in Tijuana are telling them about what these migrant caravan goers are doing in their country and what the leaders, these American activists, are telling them to do. But I don't know if it'll work. Here, if you scroll down, you can show the actresses that were there at this event. Oh, there's a little piece of the pictures there. They're with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And here is the Go Campaign's website. I want you to look at who is on their board of directors, please. It's the vampire dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Robert Pattinson, the vampire dude. It's a bunch of actors, actresses that are on this website, Duke. Their leadership includes actor Robin Pattinson. Excuse me, no, he's the ambassador. The ambassadors are Ewan McGregor. Why?
Oh, really?
Ewan, why'd you do it? Lily Collins, Robert Pattinson, and then on their board of directors, they've got Scott Pfeiffer, who's the co-founder and CEO, Jill Goldman, who's co-founder, Vicky Kennedy, who's the board chair and founder, Another co-founder is Daryl Offer, and a secretary and treasurer are Rami Gandour. And then in addition to that, they have these other names next to the board of directors list: Tony Horton, Kenneth Kim, Julie Milligan, Anna Rawson, Robert Scott, Alex Borbeck, Jamie Ward, and Jonathan Ward. And they have an advisory council that includes Allison Wright, Amanda Chantal Bacon, Andy Kaplan, Anso Woods, Ben Connor, Bernice Kwok Cabell, Bo Hyde, Katrina Hyde, Craig Gillespie, Christine Gillespie, David Wolin, Elliot Shirwo, Emma Mermudis, Ewan McGregor.
Really?
No, Eve McGregor. Eve McGregor. That must be his wife. John Domenico, John Reese, Max Kennedy, Michael Lyons, Mimi Polk Gitlin, Nancy Smith Frankel, Nick Frankel, Robert Offer, Sheila Ardalan, Shelley Armistad, Steve Silverman, and Tammy Strom. And they have a circle of friend and partners, which include, and I'm going to read all of these because I believe that they should be called out. Well, maybe not all of them. There's too many on this list. But they've got Tom's Shoes, United Talent Agency, the Southern California Real Estate Alliance, the RKF Center for Justice and Human Rights, MIT Ideas, MIT Public Service Center, Jesus, Duke, MIT D Lab, the Malala Fund,
Wow.
3 Arts Entertainment, Evangelina Lilly, like the Haiti Fund Boston Foundation, the Harvey and Lillian Silbert Foundation. There's a bunch of foundations in here. Icon 4x4, like seriously, all of these organizations have pinned their endorsements and support to the Minority Humanitarian Foundation and this guy, which looks like he's bringing people here illegally, and may even be trafficking them. I mean, I don't know. These are allegations, of course, but I think that there are valid questions that need to be answered about their connections to people who are part of these groups on the left who have been accused by our Homeland Security, by this Intercept article, according to Homeland Security and CBP, of helping people cross into this country illegally. I also wanted to show you, This is About Humanity, which is another organization connected to the Go campaign. How, Cindy? Well,
How, Cindy?
They are, because of Zoe Winkler and the people that run that particular organization. So, This is About Humanity posted this on their Instagram. Grateful to Celebrando Latinas magazine for showcasing Yolanda Selena WM, our efforts and our humanity. This is About Humanity, and it's got Zoe Winkler Reigns right there, as you can see. And what are they talking about? Yolanda Selena Walther Mead is talking about all of us can be an everyday activist.
Oh, okay.
We can and we should. It's our privilege and our duty. Okay? So, let's look at more of their Instagram. What are they talking about? This is their Instagram.
It's not on there.
This is About Humanity Insta. It's right right there.
Yep, it's not in here. Didn't get put in.
What? It's not in there. Really?
Yep. Oh, wait.
I see it.
Is this the one right here?
No.
No, didn't get put in. Sorry.
Well, it's their main, page, and it says it's a community dedicated to raising funds and awareness to support the separated families, refugees, and asylum seekers. And then it says www. That's it right there.
Yeah, I got put way up there.
www.thisisabouthumanity.com. And what's right underneath that, dude? Could you read that, please?
Oh,
It says www.
www.minorityhumanitarianfoundation.com.
Oh, what now?
www.minorityhumanitarianfoundation.com.
Which is whose organization? Mark Lane.
Yep.
So these people are posting Mark Lane's page along with theirs on This Is About Humanity. And a lot of the stuff they're doing is for Mark Lane. I want you to look at Jonathan Raíces for Al Otro Lado. This is from the same page, okay? This is from the same page. Can you describe that little picture there?
I can try.
What does it look like to you? It looks like a child's picture.
It looks like a pizza.
No, it does not, Robert.
If it's blurry, squint your eyes and you're really hungry, it does. It looks, it just won't be lonely. This is Christmas. And it shows basically a concentration camp.
With tents.
With tents and a Christmas tree in the middle with a dove on top. And it's in black and white, but the Christmas tree is actually, a dove,
like
angel.
Christmas tree?
Doves are angels. And the Christmas tree is the only thing in color. And it has these
barbed
wire fence all around with the fence and barbed wire all around.
Yep. And this guy is a musician.
Jonathan Rice.
He's this author and a singer. And he was on the first bus to the border. He was inspired to write and release a song. And all of the proceeds go to alotrolado.org.
Okay.
These people are not just supporting Minority Humanitarian Foundation. They are supporting the people who work with Mark Lane, like Al Otro Lado. They're all together. All together. It says, please use this link to our bio to purchase, but more importantly, help spread the word about this amazing song.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So I want you to now look at This Is About the Immigrant Defenders Law Center. The Immigrant Defenders Law Center, as I told you, was one of those other organizations. And here is the post from the immigrant law the defenders. What is it called?
Immigrant Defenders Law Center has been able to expand legal services to migrant caravan families in Tijuana and Mexicali, several of which are seeking asylum due to a family member's disability of over $75,000 in support through Amazon wish lists, items for separated families and asylum seekers in the last month and counting. Your generous contributions help make an impact in our clients' lives every single day. Thank you.
And who is the first person on there?
Zoe Winkler.
Zoe Winkler. Okay. So now I want you to play this video for the folks so they can hear what it's about.
All right.
Defenders Law Center.
Hi, my name is Derek Lowe. I'm the managing attorney of Index Family Unity Project. I wanted to thank you all so much for the contributions you've made to our organization in the past couple of weeks. With your help, we've been able to respond immediately to the crisis at the border. We've sent teams of attorneys down to Mexicali and Tijuana, Mexico, to provide Know Your Rights presentations and legal screenings to hundreds and hundreds of migrants. We've also been able to focus specifically on families with children with disabilities and also unaccompanied minors. We've continued our work with those people in the caravan on the U.S. side of the border, and we're now providing direct representation to them as they fight for asylum here in the United States.
Hi, my name is Riyashi Pinilla, and I'm the case manager for the Family Unity Project. I have been working with the families and seeing what their needs are. With the help of This Is About Humanity, we've been able to get some Amazon wish lists for them to receive some items. They have gotten blankets, shoes, toys, mattresses.
So let me show you. Here is the Immigrant Defenders with Juan, Leslie, Mark Lane, Paola Mendoza. One moment, please. So Mark Lane posted this, as you can see, on December 9th. And what does he say, Duke? Read it.
Let's see. Fantastic news. Fantastic news. ICE just called, and Juan, Alberto, and Leslie will be released.
Leslie was the girl in the wheelchair, Duke.
Okay. She'll be released, and he'll be released at the border into the United States in 1 hour. I'm on my way to the border to get them now. So after 2 months of pushing her in a stroller from Honduras, 3 weeks in a refugee camp in Tijuana, 4 days in ICE custody, this incredible father has achieved his goal of getting his sick daughter to a safer, better place. This may be the best love story you've ever seen. Huge thanks to at
Paola Mendoza
and Lindsay Tokislowski from Immigrant Defenders Law Center, and for helping to make this happen.
So he tagged the Immigrant Law Center, and who else is he tagging? Julie, no last name.
Yep, Julie, no last name.
Peter Kennelly, James Alaya of the Minority Humanitarian Foundation, Delia Mireles, Marcela Luz. Let's look at the big ones.
Yeah. Lots of people tagged in there.
Yeah, some of these might be important. There's Shane Parmalee. Yep. Fiorella Isabel is an actress. I've shown you her before. And then we've got Octavio Rafael is in there. Birdie Gutierrez. Okay. Everybody. There's Jeannie Wong again. Ari Hornarvar. Everyone. Who else we got?
Let's see.
And I read to the end. There's no more.
Nope,
so now
no more.
I want to show you. This is about humanity promoting Mark Lane and the Minority Humanitarian Foundation, MHF. Can I just call it MHF? It's so hard to say for me.
Yep, I don't know why it's such a tongue twister.
I don't either. I just don't like the word minority, I guess. I don't like that word. Minority human? Like, it sounds racist. I hate the name.
Yeah.
You're a minority human.
Yep,
no,
minority
I'm not.
Human.
Okay. This is About Humanity. Posted this saying, we had a chance to visit Leslie. It's the girl in the wheelchair he's talking about. And Javi in San Diego, and they're thriving. This is thank you to everyone who is supporting. And this is the picture of the little girl in the wheelchair. I just wanted you to show that that's the same little girl that they were following, these two families with journalists and documentary filmmakers all the way from Central America. They had them picked out special.
Yeah.
They were going to turn them into poster people, and they did.
Yep, for sure.
It's what they do. So, folks, very important for you to understand how they do what they're doing and who is helping them do it. This was the San Diego Rapid Response Network. They are connected to the Minority Humanitarian Foundation. Okay, they are connected to the activists that are down at the border camp, Somisec. They're all working together with these Hollywood people, and they're breaking the law. They're bringing people here illegally, and then they are overriding our resources. They are overburdening the immigration system that we have, the detention facilities, as well as the immigration judges and the backlog that we already have, the resources available for ICE and Border Patrol, and also for processing of claims. So this is only making the situation that we currently have much, much worse. I hope to be bringing you more reports in Spanish very soon to update my listeners and viewers in Spanish. Thank you for being with us tonight here on A Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You've been listening to us about San Diego Rapid Response on 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo Moorhead, where we're adding local color to your airwaves. Keep it tuned here for more great programming. Good night.